Hello and welcome to Drop Bear Arcade. I am Caleb and I have just gotten back from seeing Spider-Man Far From Home, which I wasn't expecting to do at all today. I expected it to come out on a Thursday or a Wednesday, like most movies. I was wrong. Now, just to give you all an idea of my history with Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse is my favourite Spider-Man film, and then after that it's Homecoming. And the other movies have their places, but those are my favourite in the Spider-Man universe of films. And the reason why I bring that up, and the reason why I tell you that is, again, I don't really think that reviews are a definitive thing. The way that reviews are useful is if you find someone that you share a lot of opinions with or share a lot of the same ideas about movies, you can see what their opinions and their impressions are of before going to see the film yourself. That's really where reviews make sense to me, as opposed to giving a definitive score to something. But if you liked those movies, you'll be probably glad to hear that Spider-Man Far From Home is good. It was really enjoyable. The antagonists were solid, not as impactful as Spider-Man Homecoming, but still had an impact, I suppose is the best way that I can put it. They had an impact around them, and it was done in a really well way. And something that I feel these most recent Spider-Man films have done really well compared to the others is getting the feel of the character right. A lot of people made fun of the Spider-Man PS4 game when it came out because they kept on saying that it makes you feel like Spider-Man. But there's a thing that makes it feel like Spider-Man. Part of that is the heart, part of it is him being a high school student, and a big part of it for me is the movement. And Homecoming did it quite well, but this movie in particular gets the movement down really well, and not even just the fight choreography as well. The web slinging and going in and out of buildings, and it feels really fluid. Spider fluid. It feels really fluid and concise and realistic in a way. And whilst none of this is realistic for this character with superpowers and slinging around like a spider. And it works really well. And that ties into them doing most things really well with the characters. They use the characters' powers or abilities in a really concise and really, what's the word I'm looking for? Really true to the original source work manner. And they all feel like they should, and they are used really creatively. And that's something that needs to be done. And that impact can be lost when you have what used to be the Marvel formula, and is to an extent, of having the antagonist have the exact same powers as the protagonist. Now, fortunately, this film doesn't have that problem, and both sides of the coin are treated really well. And both sides of the coin are shown doing really cool stuff that makes sense for those characters. And that's awesome and really cool. And I'm really glad that they're really getting the hang of this, and that they know, hopefully now, that they don't need to have the same powers to have cool fights. There is an offset there that can happen. But the fighting and moving aren't the only aspects of Spider-Man that make Spider-Man feel like Spider-Man. And one of the main other aspects of that character is his humor. And I feel like this movie does have a lot of funny moments in it. It uses its humor well, it's not constantly overbearing, but it is done well. There weren't any moments that made me laugh hysterically out loud, or any moments that continuously play out in my mind because I find it so funny. And that is true for the vast majority of the film. I really liked most of it, but none of it had a significant impact on me whilst watching it. It was a good movie. It was a solid movie, but it wasn't spectacular. But that's okay. Not every movie needs to do everything right. It's okay to be a good movie. In fact, in most senses, it's really difficult to be a good, solid movie. And of course, there are going to be people that disagree with me, and that's fine, and they absolutely should if they feel that way. But for me, this was a really good, fun movie that really encapsulates Spider-Man and his character well. And I'm excited to see what they do with the character in the future. I do feel like there were some parts of the film that maybe backpedaled a little bit, and I'm not sure if they will have a significant impact on the future of the franchise and the future of the MCU, which for a smaller character like Spider-Man makes sense. He doesn't need to have a huge significant impact on the MCU, but certain aspects that happen to his character should have an impact on him and him living in that world, and I don't know if they will go that route just yet. But I had a really fun time. It was solid, music was good, very much felt like a sequel to Homecoming, so if you enjoyed Homecoming, you're probably really going to enjoy Far From Home as well. And I hope you do. I hope you have a good time. If you don't, that's okay. Not everyone has to agree. That's fine. Thanks for watching.